Jay Aguirre, Will Shepard, Gabby Dunn, Miles J, Ariel Scarella. I'm saying all these names wrong, but if you know and love them, you understand who they are. Are you ready? Go! Watch it!
Hi, guys.
Oh, there's
Not
a
even a minute
reverb
in,
in this
we're already
room.
breaking things. You got this. Hi, guys. I'm Stephanie Frosch, but I'm better known as ElloSteph on the interwebs. I do a lot of LGBTQ-based content, and I'm really excited to moderate this panel today. If you guys, one by one, want to introduce yourself and your channel and what you do and just what makes you fabulous, that'd be great.
Easy. Hi, so my name is Will. I created Shep689, but RJ kind of manages it now. The channel has kind of gone through a lot of changes. We started out as me doing gay self-help and book reviews. Then we kind of evolved into daily vlogs where we have stopped. Yeah. And here we are.
Hi, I am RJ. I am the other half of Shep689. I'm also the Not Adam on YouTube, where I want to make you laugh and I want to make you think.
Hi, I'm Ariel, and I make lesbian culture videos, I think. And a lot of talk about boobs and vaginas. So.
Hi, my name is Miles J. I make videos on my channel called Miles J Production, mostly focusing on comedy. Sometimes I talk about weaves, hair, and sometimes, you know, I just like to have fun and do some sketches. So, yeah.
Hi, I'm Gabby Dunn. I'm on a channel called Just Between Us, which is like an odd couple comedy duo, and I'm the bisexual half of that duo.
Welcome.
Awesome. So because this is all about sexuality online, I feel like we've all been there through the whole discovering process, the coming out process. So what do you guys think the difference is between coming out online versus coming out in real life?
Okay, so real life is a lot harder, that's for sure. For me, I know that I started coming out when I was 14 years old, and that was way before I even knew what YouTube was.
Same.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, 14?
14.
Wow, 14's a...
I came out on MySpace. That's
Right
how old
after
I
the
am.
bat mitzvah.
Right after the bat mitzvah.
Right after the
my
bat
God.
mitzvah.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird because you never stop coming out whenever you start coming out. So 14 to my friends and 16 to my mom, and then my dad when I was 20. But as far as the internet goes, I think I've always been gay online. I can't remember. I think so. Yeah.
I mean, it was weird because it's like, yeah, I kind of came out multiple times. It was like, okay, came out to my family at 21, and then came out when I started making YouTube videos that I was, you know, in a same-sex relationship. And then after a while I had to like make a whole other video, but like, no, I'm actually bisexual. And so that almost felt like a whole separate coming out process because, and that to me was even more difficult because there was all these people being like, no, you're not. And it's like, I'm sorry, how do you know that?
None.
Yeah.
Are you done?
Done? You done? I was kind of the original like lesbian YouTuber, so I feel
No
like
big deal.
I was the pioneer of the lesbians on YouTube.
Okay, cool,
but
thanks.
We have Ariel, the pioneer.
What'd she say? I won. I'm 2009. Can anybody beat me? I don't think so.
I haven't done my research.
I don't know.
I will not be able to tell you.
I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm just saying I'm the oldest one, which is. But I came out when I was 19, and it was actually, believe it or not, very difficult for me. My brother and I are both gay, and we came out to my mom and my dad on the same day.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was very interesting. We came on the same day, and they had a great reaction. It was just me in my own head that I was terrified. I said, I think I like girls, and my mom started cracking up laughing. And my dad just looked at her, and then looked at me, and just said, good luck with women. I was like, wait, I really don't know what to tell you. It was really simple. So for me, coming out, the process of it was difficult, but actually coming out online, I was already full-fledged gay, so I was
Okay. Like halfway. Just like...
I think coming out for me was online. I feel like everybody already kind of had an idea or already knew through preconceived notions of what being gay is. So like on that front, I really didn't have to say much. So I was like, okay, well, whatever. They can deal with, you know, whatever. And as far as my parents, like, I felt like they had an idea, but then when I actually like came out to them and, you know, built up that courage to just tell them, they were like, oh, we didn't know. And I was like, you didn't know? I'm sitting over here watching Spice World and dancing. I literally performed a Hillary Duff song, So Yesterday, for them in the living room. And you didn't know? That's very supportive of them. They just don't judge, so they're very open-minded people. I love them to death.
That's funny. I had a similar thing where I had like a huge poster of Lindsay Lohan in a bathing suit in my bedroom, and my parents were like, we had no idea, because I guess I was like, she's a really good actress! And they were like, Jesus, okay. Yeah, I mean, I've also kind of, we started the channel with me already being out, but like RJ mentioned about bisexuality, I feel like I'm still coming out on the, I mean, I talk about it so much on the channel, you really can't miss it. And still, people in the comments will be like, wait a minute, but I thought, is she, and like we make jokes about our comments all the time, and a lot of times it's like the same stuff over and over again, and one of the things that comes up constantly is like, is Gabby gay? I thought she was straight. I thought she was gay. I thought she had a boyfriend. And then there's like inevitably like 45 comments being like, she's bisexual. No, I don't think so. And it's like never ending. Like if you've seen the channel once, you should just be like, that girl's bisexual, okay, we got it. But like it seems to be a never ending discussion. So, oh, YouTube.
The tube of viewing. Well, I don't know what that was. Anyway, so because we are in the new generation where the internet is a thing, do you feel that if you were growing up as a teenager today, coming out would have been easier since you're so easily able to access LGBTQ plus role models on YouTube?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my God. The fact that kids come out in high school is like mind-blowing to me now. I know you did, Steph, but like...
Not by choice,
well, that's dark. No, the fact that kids are out in high school, I can't even believe it. Like, and I think that is what is it called? Result of YouTube and like how visible people are and how you can just like easily go and find a video of a gay person like living a great life. I had to I was on LiveJournal, not to brag, and on LiveJournal I had like one gay friend and I was like, okay, that gay person is like out in the world, like somewhere in Australia, and he's like living his life, and so it's possible. But that was like literally the only evidence I had. And now, like, high school kids can just find all of us, and I'm like, oh, man, you guys are just out, and it's no big deal. And that's so mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, I've literally, I met my first actual bisexual person in college.
Right.
That was the first time I was like, oh, so you mean that's actually a thing? And they're like, yes. Because prior to that, I mean, I had heard the term, like, starting in middle school, but it was always used in that negative connotation of, oh, she's just, you know, bi for attention or whatever. Like, it was just dismissive. Mm-hmm. And then finally meeting someone who actually identified that way was just like, oh, okay. And then within...
Now they don't even need to meet. They could just look and see all of our vlogs and all of our videos and be like, oh, yes, this exists.
It was within a few months that I'm like, that's me. That is what I am. And so the fact that, like all these youngins are coming out in like high school and they're like, yeah, I'm bisexual, I'm pansexual. It just warms my little heart. Mm-hmm. It just warms it so much.
I did a speech at Hofstra last year, and the whole speech was based on why so many kids these days are coming out and really flocking to the internet to help figure out their sexuality and their gender identity. And my theory was it was fact versus feeling, and how you can read a textbook, you can go to a therapist, and they'll tell you facts, but sexuality and gender is not a fact, it's how you feel. And when you go on YouTube or you go on Tumblr, people are expressing themselves and they're expressing their feelings, and that's how you relate to other people.
I like that. We'll take that.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
That's my theory.
I mean, the whole reason that I started my YouTube channel in the first place was because I wanted to give people who were like me, who were gay in the middle of nowhere, access to seeing a gay person live their life and not have to change much of what they did going about their life just because they were gay. The only, I guess, like, access to homosexuality that I had whenever I came out was Will and Grace. And I remember, and I asked my mom to get us Showtime so I could watch Queer as Folk, and I didn't do that until like 2 o'clock in the morning. So I watched it like beneath the covers. So it was really scary coming out for myself in high school, but it was kind of, I don't know why I went through such a transformation when I was so young, that I knew that I was gay, but I hated myself for it, and I couldn't sleep at night when I was like 12 and 13 because I knew it was wrong. But at the same time, I didn't have any friends because I was projecting that own self-hatred into my school life, and then like my family life was awful at the same time. So yeah, whenever I came out though, it was so relieving, but also like terrifying at the same time, because I came from a conservative community, so who knew how they were going to react. But I don't know, here I am. I'm glad I did.
I'm glad you did too.
Me too.
Me too.
Yeah.
So everyone here is an amazing role model for the LGBTQ plus community. Do you feel that if someone does have a large online following, whether it's because they're an actor, a singer, or YouTuber, do you think that they have an obligation to come out if they are gay?
I always say no to that answer. Like,
Yeah.
you do not have an obligation to come out if you are gay, because I always say that you should always feel like you can have a safe space to come out, like you aren't pressured to come out, and that when you do come out, that you'll have people that will support you and will help you transition nicely into your new life. Yeah, like it's just not like a requirement. So
Yeah, no,
like, take it at your own time.
You don't want someone, because there's also, especially if someone's in the spotlight, there's definitely a sense of responsibility then as a member of the community, and so you don't want to like force someone into that role against their will, because then they're less inclined to sort of take that responsibility seriously. Not to mention that sometimes like some people aren't 100% sure, like, and it's like labels are really only useful if you find them, if they empower you in some way, and if that's not something that adds meaning to your life, then you shouldn't be required. Like, there's no law. Yeah, there's definitely no law that says that you have to explain to people what your identity is, or who you are, or who you like to sleep with, or who you like to date. Like, that's not the, there's no requirement. So if the average person doesn't have a requirement to wear an identity on their sleeve if they don't want to, then yeah, it shouldn't be a requirement of anybody.
Counterpoint. Not really counterpoint, but it is interesting to me as a bisexual person to see a lot of celebrities come out by saying they are fluid, or saying, well, I love who I love, or saying like, oh, it's not a big, like, don't ask me that question. And part of me worries sometimes about like the erasure of the bisexual term or label, because even like certain people who come out and or just start dating, if you're a celebrity and just start dating another gender, people will go, oh, okay, well, that's a gay person now. And I think that's kind of a mistake. And I know it's not their fault, or maybe it's not their responsibility, but I do get a little bit concerned sometimes about like the erasing, the erasing of like the term bisexual as like a thing, because then people are easily able to go, well, this person's a gay celebrity, or like this person's like now a lesbian, and it kind of creates this like, oh, they became a lesbian now, versus like this is a bisexual person. So I don't know, I'm on the fence about this idea, because part of me is like, yeah, it's nice to have the privilege to not be able to label yourself, but there is like a thing where it would help immensely to just be so clear about the label. And even like on television shows, even like if you're writing a television show, like a mainstream television show, there's so many characters who are like, I date who I date. And I'm like, okay, but you've had like the run of like 4 or 5 seasons of a show, and you've literally never said the word bisexual, as if it doesn't exist. And it's like a little bit weird.
For sure, yeah. Hashtag say the word is always like a thing that has to be proliferated among the community. But at the same time too, again, once that is a label that someone owns, it's almost like, especially when they're among some of the first openly members of a certain community, be it bisexual or any other minority group you want to to basically talk about, it's almost like you become the group spokesperson.
I know.
Which is unfortunate and is not something that should exist, that should not be the case, but unfortunately it's kind of the world we live in right now. And so it's like, I definitely don't want someone sort of representing themselves as like, you know, a leader in the community unless they are like willing to take responsibility for that role. Which is why it's like, it's a complicated question.
I feel like it's one thing, I agree with Miles in that these people don't owe us anything. They don't owe us an explanation as to who they have sex with, because at the end of the day, that's literally what it changes, who they have sex with, right? But whenever they do come out, I feel like I don't know, a person of influence, they got there somehow. So whenever they do decide to come out, I feel like it's part of their branding that they are. I mean, and I hate that they become a spokesperson, but we care about that so much. We care about the fact that Colton Haynes is gay now, and then all of a sudden he matters so much to the gay community. I'm like, okay, why didn't he matter like 6 months ago? Why does it matter so much now?
Yeah, it has more to do with other people than him, though.
Right. It is interesting that all of us on this panel started our careers out, like started our YouTube channels out-ish, right? Is that true?
Oh.
Ish?
Not really.
No, really.
Because I didn't like.
There was one video. Okay.
One video before it happened.
One video before you were like, never mind.
I didn't deny it, but I also wasn't like, I am bisexual.
Yeah.
Bisexual. Like I wasn't, like as much like waving the flag as I am now. Like I didn't deny it. I definitely was like.
Yeah.
I just kind of let people label me however they wanted to.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So.
It is interesting because I do wonder about people who come out later, like have already built a huge fan base and then come out later versus like me starting, just between us already out. It is like a very interesting thing career-wise.
No, I just love how they're always saying, oh, it's a career move now. I'm like, do you realize how awesome that is that people are actually saying?
Yeah.
That used to be career suicide.
Yeah.
And now they're like, oh, he's doing it for attention. I'm like, good.
I know, all the time I'm like, oh, I could have monetized that video so hard.
But yeah, I feel like there's a hit and a miss with it. I mean, yeah, no one has to tell the world who they are because it's a private thing. But at the same time, like Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. I was a comic book kid. But whether you're out or you're not, what do you think is some social change that we have the power to do with the internet at our fingertips to make it a safer space and a better world for the LGBTQ+ community?
That's actually where I was going to go before you asked this question.
I knew that's why I asked.
I was going to say, regardless of what celebrities might do and stuff like that, I think it is just as important for any individual to come out of the closet and be proud of who they are, because before I made videos, Davey Wavy made videos, and he inspired me to come out. I was out already, but he inspired me to come out and make videos about it. And I think, and at that time I was a nobody, right? And anybody has the ability to grow to that extent and share their voice. And I think that's, in some ways, possibly even more important than waiting for some celebrity to do it for you.
Yes. I think also it's just great once you do have a platform, just having that gives you the ability to speak to not just to LGBT issues but other issues, just issues in general that are important to you. And to like, I don't just talk about being bi on my channel. I talk about everything from gun control to income inequality to everything. So it's just knowing that you have a voice with your platform, and just being able to sort of use your powers for good, I think is just in general. And then also as a member of the bi community especially, a way to really just speak to a lot of the misconceptions that are out there, and just sort of just be like, no, that's not how it is. It's useful to have my content almost be like an information resource for other people, so that if someone wants to, combat all of the bullshit about, coming out as bi, it's like they don't have to counter that themselves. They can just show people my video and I can argue for them. That's great. I love being able to do that.
I think that's something I noticed recently is that whenever you have influence and you're in the LGBT space and it's known that you're LGBT, there comes a certain responsibility with your platform, and I try to lead by example. So I don't say that I do good things because I'm gay. I say that I do good things because I'm a good person and I happen to be gay. So that's kind of how I choose to go about it. But I think that what happened in Orlando recently has kind of opened my eyes a lot to how people view themselves as a part of this community. There was a lot of outcry. There was a lot of people that were upset and they made their voices heard. But then there were also people that had massive followings that are a part of the community that remained silent. And I'm like you, I guess I'm just like personally disappointed in that. But at the same time, it's their platform and they're allowed obviously to go about their branding and their platform however they see fit. But I think it's like whenever you're a part of this community, be a part of it, right? Don't be a part of this community.
Right, yeah.
Like don't be a part of this community if it's like nice and easy for you, and you know turn it off whenever things get rough.
Yeah,
like,
you're not in a cafeteria where you can just kind of pick and I like some of this and I'll take some of this and I'll leave the rest. It's like no.
Awesome. So why did you guys specifically choose to do LGBTQ plus content on your YouTube? Because some of the big YouTubers we have today, Tyler Oakley, Ingrid, Hannah Hart, they're definitely part of the LGBTQ plus community, but that's not necessarily their focus. Why do you guys decide that you want this to be heard and something that you represent online?
It's fun.
Good answer.
Girls are hot, and they deserve to be praised and put on a pedestal like anybody else. And
Ariel is single, everybody.
For 3 years. It's okay though.
But we're not bitter.
No, I'm not. No, I think that. Wait, what was the question? I'm sorry.
Why did you choose to do
Why do I make videos about being
LGBTQ
gay?
content?
I think that it's an underrepresented part of the community. It was at least when I first started, and I just continued to do it.
Right.
Nobody was not that many. I think maybe Matthew Lush and like 3 other people were on YouTube at the time, and Michael Buckley and Chris Crocker. When I started, that was it.
Yeah, no, it was weird how like I made the first officially bi video that I made. I made it with the intention of like I'm gonna talk about it once and never again. Like I'm just gonna say whatever, all that I need to say in one video, right? And then all of a sudden it goes nuts. Like people share it everywhere. I start getting messages about, oh my gosh, talk about it more, please. And I was like,
I remember that.
Oh, all right. Well then, and then what's so funny is that it taught me also the difference between like having a label and owning a label and then being a part of a community. Because while I had been identifying as bisexual or been bisexual this whole time, there was a whole community of people there that I hadn't really been in touch with yet. And so what was really awesome too is to sort of learn about my own community and my own sort of heritage as a member of Bi Plus, and seeing how much rich history there is there and how many issues that we still have to tackle as a community. And then I get to share that with my audience as like a way of, okay, now let's learn about this together. Like let's all educate ourselves here. And that's just been a really, really great enriching experience, because not only do I get to take this journey, but a lot of people get to do it with me.
For me, it was mostly just like showing people that you can be completely different from somebody and still should be respected like as a human being. So I may not be like the rest of the gays out there, but you gonna treat me just like the rest of the human beings out in this damn world. So I needed to let the children know, and I needed to tell them and teach them. I was like, hey, I'm a thing, this is me, this is who I am, and you're gonna deal with it whether you like it or not. So
And then you throw the mic. Okay. For our channel, a lot of it, to me, is how funny it is to normalize my character versus Allison's character, because if you're not familiar, Allison is essentially like very straight and like a 1950s sort of caricature where like she wants a husband and she wants a husband real bad. And so like it started out on the channel where like, Allison was the pun intended, straight woman, and then I was like this crazy out there queer poly feminist, oh my God. And slowly over 2 years, it's become like a total 180 where I've become the straight man, and Allison is it highlights how crazy and out there Allison's views are, even though those are the views that are societally acceptable. And so all of it, like, my favorite comments are when people go, I thought Gabby was crazy, but now I think Allison's crazy, and Gabby seems really normal. And I'm like, great, if you're coming to our channel and the person on the channel who is just like a loud feminist, bisexual, polyamorous person, and like that's the most normal person on the channel, like we've done, then great. Then like you can meet that person in real life and they're normal to you. And that's like the best thing to me, is that it highlights like how all the stuff that is societally, like that like is the Cosmo magazine sort of like how to land a man, when you say it out loud seems crazy. But then my whole life is like, oh, she's actually like pretty chill and normal and seems to be happy, so I have no complaints here.
Wow, gay people and normal in the same sentence. Who would have guessed? So, as you know, we're LGBTQAI2 ABCDEFG. We're a very large community. What do you think is something we can do to help smaller creators who maybe represent the letters of our community that aren't as heard as often? So we have people who are gender non-binary, we have pansexuality, we have agender, we have asexual. What's something we can do so people make that a little bit more normal as well?
Defend it. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Because like the Proud to Be video has like completely opened my eyes to just how scared everyone is of stuff they don't understand. So it's not, I mean, I'm so happy that the Proud to Be video that came out a couple of days ago actually did, because the comment section and the like to dislike ratio on that video is exactly why that video needed to be made in the first place. So I know that there are so many instances of people not understanding the T part of the LGBT, and that is like the fact that we don't do anything about it is doing a disservice to our community, because they are a part of us. So what I want to do personally is just lend my platform in order to educate people that don't understand that there's nothing weird about them either. So I mean, everyone else has seemed to understand that gay white males are a thing. My struggle isn't nearly as much as the other parts of the acronym, and I would do a disservice to everyone else if I just still stayed quiet because I got what I needed. I can marry now, but there's still so much disrespect for everyone else, so to be silent is to kind of allow them to keep going, and that's just not okay with me.
Yeah.
Collabing is a big thing too,
Right.
of going on other channels and having people on your channels, and if you want to talk about an issue but you're like, well, I'm not a member, you know, I'm not asexual, I'm not agender, I'm not gender non-binary, how can I do this? Like, there are smaller creators out there, and if you have a big platform, to bring them onto your channel and have them speak is like creates a bigger platform for them. So I would say collabing is like a big part of it too.
Just listening. Listening is a great, like just being able to, like, no one is born knowing everything or everybody's experience. And so just being open and being willing to just learn and have people and members of your own, you know, of different sort of communities, like, just teach you, and being open to that has been, I think, the most useful tool. In that, you know, that again pivots back to what he said about being able to kind of use your voice to advocate for all members of the community, but you can't do that effectively until you listen and until you learn enough that that if you find yourself in a conversation and someone says something transphobic or something that's otherwise, you can be like, hey, by the way, like, no, that's not how we should conduct ourselves.
Yeah, and share those videos. Share the other people's videos.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And like tag them and stuff.
Yeah.
And like
Tag, comment, rate, subscribe.
leave comments.
Yeah, all that.
I have one thing to add. I think it's incredibly important to, when you do promote these other channels, to make sure that you're promoting someone that has a positive energy about who they are. And that's not that they're not going through shit, because everybody has that time in their life that they're going through it. But I think it's important for them to have a positive outlook, because you're going to bring them on your channel and expose them to your audience, who also wants a positive view of this new community that they're being shown. I always sound like I have more to say, and then I just stop. every time I've answered a question.
To be continued with Ariel.
My mind works very weirdly.
But as you were saying, yeah, we have reached gay marriage, which is a huge thing, a major accomplishment. But we still
Same-sex
have
marriage?
people.
Same-sex marriage?
Yeah.
Wow.
she say?
Same-sex.
Same-sex marriage. Sorry.
We were just talking before this about how RJ and I are going to be the bi buzzkills on this panel. I'm just like, I'm sorry to interrupt. Erasure has been happening.
I tried to be gentle about it, like a lot of other things, but
Yeah, so same-sex marriage is a thing. And that's cool, but we still have members of our community who still can't even go to the bathroom. So what are some things you think that we need to do to make it more accessible so everyone in our community will have their rights, not just the L, the G, and the B?
Right. I can speak from experience because I know that my mom, before I came out, was so conservative. And that was just the community in which I grew up and where we lived. But whenever I came out, or when I came out, my mom had this massive change, and she realized that it was either adapt to the way that I was or lose me. So, but I think that through being patient with her and kind of holding her hand through the process, obviously because she's my mother, so I have the patience to hold her hand and stuff. But she has learned so much through me being patient with her about the other parts of the community. Obviously, I can't speak for the bisexual or the transgender or anything like that. But the fact that she kind of has that accessibility to that community through me has taught her so much. And I think that she is also teaching other members of our family and her friend group about it as well, because they know that she has a vested interest because her son is gay. So I think it's all about accessibility and being patient with them, because I mean there are things about living as a bisexual or living transgender that I don't understand and I need to learn. So if I want someone to be patient with me, I need to be patient with them.
I think definitely, I mean, use your voice to speak on behalf of any and all injustice is a very key thing to do. Like, I know I've definitely made a whole video trying to dismantle the whole bathroom bill thing, but also realizing that, listen, while I'm doing my best to advocate on behalf of a community, it's something that I'm not technically a member, so I definitely also wanted to make sure that even when I made my video, I'm like, okay, by the way, here are some amazing trans creators. You can refer to them. Please refer to them, because all I'm doing is basically just regurgitating what they have taught me as best as I can. But really, you need to hear it straight from them. But we're all here to tell you that this bathroom bill thing is bullshit. Right. So. And some of those creators are here today. Hey, guys.
Sky.
Yes.
Sky.
And Kat's in the back. Hey, girl.
Cat.
So, you know, these, see, they're on the front line.
You.
So, like,
we see you.
I'm just trying to help. So just, you know, and I think that's also great to have, you know, some of those other, you know, members of the acronym, teach us how to be better advocates, teach us how to be better, better resources to you guys. Like, if there's anything we can be doing better or more, please let us know, because we want to do it.
Which he has. I've called Sky like multiple times.
Yeah.
Sky.
I'm
getting hate on my video.
I even have to defer, I have to defer to other bi people a lot of times, because I'm like, you know, like I still consider myself pretty new to this too. So even like advocating on my own behalf, I have to like defer to other people and just be like, does this make sense? Is this like causing more harm than good? And so like on it, like it's ask. You can ask. If you're, because I can't tell you how many times everyone's like, oh, I've always been curious about this, but I've never thought to ask. I've always been too afraid to ask. I'm like, listen, as long as you're like respectful about it and like, listen, I don't mean to offend, but like, could you clarify this for me? I can guarantee you that it's going to be way better to like ask those questions than to just kind of sit there and have that misconception. Like, it's, yeah.
Something I think is really important is to not speak over anyone and listen, just reiterating what RJ said. And in addition to that, not expecting any cookies when you do speak out.
Oh my God, yes.
Because I know there are some people out there that think they need an award or deserve to go somewhere because they speak about certain issues or injustices in communities and think that they deserve to be in a place. And it's like, no, it does, no. That's not the way it works.
That just makes you a good human.
Yeah, you
that
just
doesn't. Yeah, you don't
are
get a gold
just
star.
like a good person for speaking out. So, you know, take that as you may. Do what you will with that information. I also think, for me personally, it's important to talk, you know, with, about, and learn from trans creators, because I kind of live in this, I guess you would say, limbo of a mixture per se of genders. I don't even know what to call myself. I definitely cycle around through like the words gender fluid, and what's the other one? Or you like dress, gender queer, just like, because I have no idea. Sometimes I feel more ladylike than I do a man, and sometimes I feel more manly. So
I love that you deferred to me as if I would.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you think is the word? Because I can't remember it. That's what I was wondering.
Like super pretty.
Yeah.
Slay. My gender is pretty. Killing it, slaying it.
One time Allison said, I was like, she's like, do you know what I identify as? And I was like, what? And she was like, sad. Same girl, same.
Or I always joke that like my pronoun is Your Majesty. Like that's my.
I saw that.
I like that.
So a lot of our young audiences are struggling to discover their sexuality, their gender, whether they're bi, gay, sad. So what advice do you have for someone young questioning who they are that can make it a little better or easier for them?
Take your time. It's not a race.
And it'll change.
Yes.
Oh yeah. There's first off, like again, there's no requirement that you identify as anything. I think that's the first thing. There's no requirement. There's no law that says you have to pick a gender identity, a sexual identity. There's no law. So only choose a label if it empowers you. And just because you choose it now doesn't mean you're married to it for life, unless you actually marry someone for life.
Yay.
But otherwise, yeah, it's all, you know, if it enhances your existence, great. If it doesn't,
I also think like you're gonna change so much throughout your life. Like I identified as bi when I was like 12 in my own head, and then was like, table it forever because this is terrible. And then now, just like in the last year, I learned the word pansexual, and like, you know, I present myself as very confident and stuff on my channel, or like very like, oh, I know everything. But like, still things are changing. Still, I'm like, maybe I am pan. I don't know. Some days, like, maybe I'm this, maybe I'm that. And like, I'm 28, which is, I know, gross in YouTube years. But like, you can still like, I'm still learning things and still changing. And like, if I watched a video that I made a year ago, I'd be like, that's all wrong. So like, don't be so, I know it seems like everybody's like, label, but like don't be so hard on yourself if things are changing. I get so many emails from people being like, I thought I was a lesbian and I identified so hard as a lesbian, and then I like fell in love with this guy, and like, am I even a lesbian anymore? And I'm like, you're like you're just still a person. You're just everyone's so hard on themselves.
And then there's that misconception too about like, you know, oh, was I lying to people if I came out as this prior? I'm like, no, if it felt true to you at the time, then you were being honest. Yeah. Like, it's fine. Like,
what I always say is, like, when I was a kid, I was a size 4 shoe, and now I'm a size 6. It doesn't mean I was never really a 4. You change.
You're a size 6. You're so small.
I know. I have small feet, but a big heart. So. Awesome. So we have about 20 minutes left. So if any of you guys have some questions, I believe we're going to have some lovely individual in green help us out. Are you lovely and in green?
Lovely.
Hi.
oh.
So if you want to pick whoever your heart desires with a question.
Pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Oh, I was gonna pick her first too.
Ooh. She's all the lavender hair.
Katie, am I allowed to speak? Oh, hello.
You are always allowed to speak.
Hi.
Katie, right?
Yeah.
Because you're at mental health.
Yeah, I am not like following you guys specifically, but like I have been everywhere you've been this morning. But I'm Katie. So I have, I started out with a mom and a dad, and then my dad came out of the closet when I was 11, and now I have a mom and 2 dads. And
Lucky
so,
you.
yeah, it's a very unique family. And so my dad got remarried when I was in high school, and for me, the gay thing was never an issue, and it was never a problem for me because actually I've always really identified as bisexual. I actually felt like I had a safe place to come out to, even though my mom's side of the family was super conservative. However, when I did come out of the closet and like tell my dad, he was like, "That doesn't exist."
Yeah.
And I thought that I was gonna have somebody like good to come out to because I mean you're gay and you came out when you were 30 with 4 kids, like hello. And it didn't work out that way. And now, after showing him various YouTube channels and like showing him like different people, like it's helped us talk it out and discuss it. But I just wanted to know from RJ and Gabby, like clearly it's an issue you guys have probably experienced, but like what do you have to advise people on that? And then what do you have like as a personal story of how you got through that, and like where do you stand after that? Because I always felt like I was a liar for years. So.
Yeah, oh God. Gabs, you want to start?
Oh, now you want to hand over? Okay, well, like, we got a really tough question. So, Gabby? Ashley Mardell and Ariel just made this series about, like, you remember your own videos, right? And I was in it, which was talking about lesbians dating bisexuals and bisexuals dating lesbians, and the sort of, and we talked a bit about how, like, a lot of the hatred towards my bisexuality came from lesbians, not most of it, or monosexual people, so I kind of had internalized that a bit and thought that I guess I didn't show up to a lot of gay events for a while because I thought, okay, well, I'm not wanted here.
You're not gay enough.
You're not gay enough to be here. You're not wanted. And then, but just by nature of showing up to those things or making my face, like putting my face out there and things and thinking like, I am worthy to be, like maybe a couple years ago I would have been like, I'm on the LGBTQ panel for VidCon, like I don't deserve to be here. But like still, but I think forcing yourself to be like, okay, I deserve to be here. I deserve to be in this space or whatever helps a lot in terms of like your own self-esteem of like being like, no, everything that I'm doing is valid and I'm like just as deserving to be here as other people. And you're just as, the B is in the name of the community. Like you're allowed to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The B's not silent. I think, it's as long as you have at least like a handful of people who are affirming, it definitely gets a lot easier putting up with that bi erasure. And let me tell you, you will get it far more from like lesbian and gay people than you will straight people.
Yeah.
As far as the erasure goes from like straight people, it's more of like, oh, that's a thing, as opposed to from like the gay side, it's like, no, that doesn't exist. You're actually gay. Just don't be a coward. Stop being a coward. Don't use it as a stepping stone.
There was someone that I was where a friend of mine and I are both bisexual women, and we wanted to make a video for this company about the Orlando shooting, and the guy in charge was like, oh, really? 2 bi-femme girls are going to make this video? And I was like, really?
Yeah.
And then I said, she told me that's why we weren't doing the video, and I said, oh, tell him I fuck more women than him every day.
Yeah, you have to definitely develop a pretty thick skin and develop a really quick sense of humor. But I think also what I found is just refusing to listen to that, and like the more you actually live your life openly and just continue to be open about it, the more people will be like, oh, I guess it is really a thing. Because especially we're called the silent majority by a lot of sexual health experts because we kind of get bullied into not identifying. And so there is a really massive visibility problem because we don't feel comfortable coming out about it. But I feel like as more and more people do make it a point to identify as such, you'll start seeing, because a lot of people, oh, I've never met a bi person before. I'm like, that you know of.
Right.
Statistically, you've probably met quite a few. You just didn't know it. So.
You? Can you stand?
I like your shirt.
Thank you. I have a question about making coming out videos.
Yeah.
I have a question about making coming out videos. Do you have a problem with like coming out videos, like monetizing the coming out experience? I know a lot of people say like, oh, coming out, you're just coming out to get money and for views and everything, instead of just like living your sexual orientation on your channel.
No, like, I don't think there is any issue with that. Like, it is the money that you make from your coming out video, I think is low-key deserved. Like it's such a tough thing to come out, and especially depending on like, you're coming out to everyone, and you know, maybe your family might see that and they might not be accepting of it. Like, there was that one video, I don't know, it was last year before that, where someone was coming out and like their family had like cornered them and started like screaming at them, and they got kicked out. Yeah, so that video went viral, and they set up like a GoFundMe page and got like a whole bunch of money. So like, there's instances like that where that could happen, and it's scary. So like, whatever money that they can make or, you know, gather up from their coming out video, you know, get it, girl.
Yeah, I definitely. It's definitely. I'll just go back to it. Used to be career suicide to come out. So the fact that now people are being salty and are like, oh, it's a career move. Oh, they're just doing it to get attention. I'm like, good, great. That's a sign of how far we've come.
I will say that there is a weird thing to me about the types of coming out videos that do go viral tend to be very attractive young white gay men.
Yes.
And that is a little insidious to me. Like, why isn't Ellen giving us all checks? I would like a check, please, Ellen.
Right. However, that is not. That's not on them, is it?
No. I just think it is interesting. Like, be aware of, I guess, the types of video coming out videos that are celebrated versus other types of coming out videos
For sure.
that don't get as much attention. That's all. Here to be a buzzkill. Okay, sorry, everybody.
Sorry. I mean, I think that there are two things that I want to say to that. I think I don't have a problem with them monetizing off their own coming out, but there are a lot of people that monetize off other people's coming out, and that is unacceptable. Like, that is not your story. Like, how dare you make a video dismissing it? Or, because I've seen that a lot. Oh my God, and the other point just left me. Dang, the other point was really good too. But yeah, I mean,
it's definitely worth discussing.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, got it. But I think you know, when stuff like that happens and someone comes out and they monetize it, and there are people that are dismissive of it, I think it takes moments like Orlando to realize why that is so important at the same time. Because like, what is the alternative? That why they come out and then like they don't make a living from it, but then like they can be murdered in a club. And I mean, honestly, any way that someone wants to make a living honestly with integrity, I'm okay with, because we're literally getting murdered for being who we are. So we have bigger things to worry about than how someone makes money on their YouTube channel. And I think them using their voice to join the community and to be an inspiration to the community should be applauded.
Right. Yes, for sure. And it's also like, it's not just all about Orlando. It's like, it's still legal in a lot of places to get fired for being gay, and it's not, and it's still illegal in many parts of the world. It's punishable by death in certain parts of the world. So it is definitely crucial that we have those positive portrayals of coming out and that experience, for sure. Like, it is a linchpin of hope for a lot of people. That being said, yes, we definitely need to have a discussion about the types of videos that are celebrated, but at the same time, it's also not on, you know, it's not, you know, on the heads of the people who are actually doing the coming out. It's on everybody's sort of collective head to sort of reevaluate how we view, like, oh, why are we only viewing cis white gay people coming out over everybody?
I would still like a check, please, from Ellen.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. It's my royalties, bitch.
There you go. Hi. So I've been bisexual for most of my life and an only child for all of it. And I just recently have started living with my aunt and uncle and my two twin 15-year-old cousins, one of which is very, very strongly thinks that she's bisexual. And now that I'm living with her, she looks up to me as an older sister, and I'm not used to it. And she looks at me like her bisexual idol and like her kind of figure to look up to, and as someone who has many subscribers and fans, how do you deal with being someone non-cisgender and being that inspiration to them?
Wait, she's trans? She's trans?
She's
or
bi.
She's bi. She's bi.
Okay, so she is cisgender.
Well,
She's-
not
I think she actually
straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not straight. Yeah.
That's what I
She-
meant.
I think she misspoke.
Okay.
How do you deal with that? I think really the way that I sort of mitigate it is like, listen, I'm doing the best I can here. I'm a human being. I'm definitely gonna make mistakes. But it's like you're allowed to not live up to your own standards or any standards 100% of the time. So I think
do all the time.
So I think as long as you're open with that, I think as long as you're open with the fact that you are still a human being that is flawed and are open about it and be like, let's learn from my mistakes together. I think that's definitely a way to sort of manage that expectation, because it can be pretty tough.
Oh yeah, I mean the fact that the fan base for a lot of our stuff I think is very young is like a constant thing in my head of like, okay, these are maybe the first time that they're seeing a queer person. Like this might be their first. I worry all the time about disappointing like a huge fan base because they are so young and because they do expect so much of people. But I think a big thing is them realize, someone that age realizing that you're not going to be perfect, and you not putting pressure on yourself to be perfect.
Yeah, owning your imperfection as well as your attributes I think it's important for sure.
I think that it's also important to illustrate that their path may not be your path. That's true. She may be looking to you because you're the only accessible bisexual person in her life, but I think she needs to kind of back up and realize that she doesn't have to kind of be you, right? She doesn't have to. She can still have her own interests outside with all of the other aspects that come with making a person who they are.
Yeah.
But I remember whenever I was coming out, I thought that I had to be like the gay people that I saw in Will and Grace. I thought that was the lifestyle that I was subscribing to and subscribe. But I don't know, it kind of dawned on me as I went about my business that there were so many other parts of me that really mattered more. The fact that I, wasn't a violent person, or the fact that I like a certain type of music, and the fact that I like dogs, and there are so many other parts of me that I think are way more important than the fact of what my sexuality is. And I think maybe just take some time to kind of figure out what path she wants to take, and who she really is. And I think that's something important that every high schooler should do. Just kind of turn off all the noise, turn off the phones, turn off the TV, figure out what you like, who are you, right? Mm-hmm. And that will help you accept who you are.
Yeah, I definitely, when I do ask a bi guy, for instance, I make sure to say, this is me and my experience. If you ask another bi person, you could very well get another set of answers, which is also why I take other bi people and bring them on my channel and ask them the exact same question. So I'm like, how are your answers different? How are yours the same? It's definitely, I think the more, you definitely make it clear up front that, my experience is not everybody's experience. If there's a billion bi people out there, there's a billion different ways to experience that. Same with any identity or any label out there. So,
we have time for about 2 more questions.
Two. Zwei.
She's standing up.
She wants to ask a question.
She's like, no.
Okay, I know some of you came out really young, and I'm 13 and I identify as queer. And my
yes. Woo. Yeah, I'm that's so awesome.
And my school found out, everyone in my school, and so I had a bunch of people come up to me and be like, oh, you're too young to know, how, you're 13, you're not supposed to know yet.
You're too young to know unless you're straight. Basically.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
We tell babies, we're like, that baby's flirting. We put sexuality on babies.
Yeah, we project that on. Yeah. So if any, I was like, wait, she has a question, or is that your question? Is how to deal with that?
Yeah.
Okay. I think the best thing you can do is just own it as best you can. Continue.
Tell them they're too young to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you're gay. How do you know?
Yeah, you ask, like, adults will ask kindergartners, do you have a boyfriend? Do you have a girlfriend? Like, that's, have you ever met a kindergartner? There's so much, like, drama and romance that goes on in kindergarten, and it's all, like, heteronormative because it's just the adults sort of projecting it on the kids. The kids don't know any better. Like, I had a kindergarten romance, too. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I didn't know what a girlfriend was. I just drew pictures of me and her together and gave them to her, and then one day she stopped talking to me. Like, it was just...
It's a real relationship.
Yeah. Exactly, right. It's like all my children, but kindergarten. Like, if I was doing that, if I was doing that to another boy, they would have been like, oh, no, don't do that. But because I was doing it to a girl, it was like, oh, yeah, oh, look at him. It's so adorable. So it's just like, just call their bluff. I think is the best thing you can do is just like try to point out to people like, how much do you just assume that a child is straight until they tell you that they're not? And that may be difficult to do, in the span of a certain conversation, but like the other thing is own it. Just own it as best you can and just continue. And just, the more they dismiss it, the more...
Honestly, like, do you have tips for us? Because I can't believe you know that about yourself. You're like the coolest.
That's awesome. Yeah, go you.
Do we have another question?
She wants it.
Ending it on a strong note.
Get that question.
I'm a lot older than you guys, so I'm going to take the floor. First of all, thank you to all of you so much. A big part of what my partner and I appreciate about this, I know, is all of your activism. And I guess I want to ask, because we've been so attracted to activism, we're a brand new channel, we're 8 months old, and shameless plug, we just did, because we keep being drawn toward activism, 7 things you can do in the wake of Orlando to help. But honestly, those videos don't perform quite as well as the funny, sweet. Do you know what I mean? Do you guys think about that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The reason they don't perform as well is because people actually have to get off their ass and do something.
Yeah.
And it's sad, but it's true. And this goes back to Coney 2012. Everybody remember that?
Oh my God.
Okay. The reason that performed really well is because they made people believe that they could change the world by sharing a video. And maybe sometimes you can.
Hashtag for change.
But yeah, but in that case, it was really that campaign was all about get celebrities to do the job for us, and that's not where it happens. It has to be a much more grassroots. Is that the right term?
Right. Yeah.
Type of thing. I think when it comes to the gay community, especially.
But for sure, like it's also kind of like. Using the dark side or sort of to your advantage too, like what with my content especially, like I always like to disguise my substance and slip it in there kind of incognito and not. Sometimes I will not be subtle about it. I just made a gun control video. I was not subtle about it. But other times, as far as my activism goes, like I'm much more sly about it, and I'm much more about the infotainment angle of it. So, sometimes you got to pour melted cheese on vegetables to get kids to eat it.
That's your perfect.
And so, like, yeah. So for me, yeah, it's just about finding the right mixture of vegetables and cheese. So.
Yeah, people usually don't sign up to learn. They sign up to laugh.
That's why you trick them.
Yeah.
Trick them.
Trick them into learning.
You do. You're like, yeah. Like I've literally done videos where I've done a video of a lesbian virgin sees a naked woman for the first time after she came out of the closet. And yeah, it's sexualized and everything, but the message at the end of the video was, don't you feel much more calm? Because now that you're gay and you're out, it's just a woman. Like, yeah, there it is. It's like, oh, I don't feel like ashamed, and I'm not scared of this other woman that's standing in front of me naked. So there's always a way to, like somebody said, slip it in. And
Whoa.
Yep. Well,
trick them and to learning.
I think also there's just a bunch of different ways to sort of be an activist. I think this whole this whole panel is just a great cross section of just different ways to advocate. Some are more overt, some are more covert. I think I still use Miles's channel as an example of just like how to advocate without making it look like you're my favorite video of his is still where he makes bear cakes.
Oh my God,
like
bear cakes.
What does that have to do with being gay? Nothing, except it's watching someone who's entertaining and really engaging. About gender and sexuality, and just doing it in such a fun, subversive way that you just don't even you're just laughing so hard, you're too busy laughing that you don't even realize that you're kind of also being brought to the dark side, so to speak. So
Do you want to comment on your bear cakes video?
it's great.
It's lit.
Literally.
And on that note, thank you guys so much for coming to this panel. We had a great time and hope you did too.
We're done. We did it. We did it.
Nailed it.
Crushed it. I love that this.
Hello.
Welcome. We're back.